आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं अभी।
Can I start?
हाँ जी, यस।
Okay. I'm just waiting for the participants to join. Okay, namaste and welcome all the teachers for our today's session.
रिकॉर्डिंग डाल।
Today we are going to talk about learning disability. What is the main reason behind learning disability? What are the major symptoms related to learning disability? And some level of discussion we are going to have today in regards to what exactly teachers in the schools can able to identify and how they can manage and help the children with learning disability to perform well academically. So I will be sharing my screen with all of you. So, and yes, before we start with teachers, there are 2-3 things which we all have to keep in mind. First, I would request all of you to keep yourself on mute so that we can have a fruitful, sharing also of my ideas and everything throughout the session. Then later on, we will have some amount of time wherein I will ask all your feedbacks and what your experiences have been till now as a teacher in regards and something related to today's topic. And if you have any queries, any doubts, we will try to answer that once I will end up with my session. So teachers, let me just share my screen with all of you. Okay. Okay, so we are going to, as I told you, today we are going to talk about learning disability. So let us understand what exactly learning disability is and how much fruitful will it be to understand that why is it caused, how the symptoms are seen in the children, and how we can probably manage that in the limited environment of the school itself. So I will just go by the definition. Neurodevelopmental disorders are disabilities in the functioning of the brain that affect a child's behavior, memory, motor function, learning, language, and non-verbal communication. That means any kind of neurodevelopmental disability if we talk about, like learning disability, it can be autism, ADHD, intellectual disability, and multiple disability. So whenever we talk about any such related term, we have to always understand, teachers, that it's directly or indirectly related to our brain structure, the child's behavior, his memory power, his retention power, and also level of attention and concentration. And also we must not forget, whenever we are talking about neurodevelopmental disorders, it actually consists of many kind of verbal and non-verbal communication, or the cues, what we call. Because most of the time, whatever as a teacher I can observe a child overtly, I cannot exactly understand that what the child is thinking right now. But whatever management strategy needs to be done with the child or probably with the parents, we always try to act upon whatever the behavior we can see overtly in the child. Therein we start deciding that what can be our management plan for that particular child having any kind of developmental disorder. So as I already mentioned, teachers, the common types of the neurodevelopmental disorders are learning disability, which today we are going to define about dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, and dyspraxia. Autism spectrum disorder, that is also one kind of neurodevelopmental disorder. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and multiple disability. So what is some more depth we will be having about what learning disability is, teachers? So we discussed, it's a neurological condition that interferes with an individual's ability to store, process, and retrieve information. That means I am very sure most of the teachers who are listening to me, I'm very sure you all must have seen and felt those kind of minute problems in most of the children around you. Some teachers may have gone very much in depth to understand that, yes, exactly this is the problem with that child. Let me study his behavior, his patterns more. Or some teachers must have skipped observing those minute things in certain children with learning disability. So if I talk about any child in your class, how you can identify in the coming up slides, we are going to talk about the checklist and the symptoms, the common symptoms, how we can identify learning disability. But basically what LD, in short form what we call it as LD comprises of any child having problem in the storage. That means if he is able to read, if he is able to write some bit of it, of course with certain difficulties, but still he or she will fail to have a proper retention of whatever concept the child has studied. When the actual time, like for example when the examinations will come, he will thoroughly try to learn and learn all the concepts, all the spellings, but eventually when you ask the child to write on his own or you ask the child to write independently, he will surely fail up to some level. So retrieving the information and also processing. But most of the teachers, we have commonly encountered this kind of problem, that most of the teachers say that, okay, ma'am, he follows all the instructions. He also, we can see that, you know, the child is very much interested in studies. He also listens to the teacher very carefully. But ma'am, we really cannot understand why he cannot get good grades in the school. So teachers, this is the main identifying point whenever we are trying to identify any child with learning disability. And in the later on slides, we are going to talk about the various types. The child having LD will have an IQ of 85 and above, which is normal IQ. Why teachers I'm going word by word while telling you what learning disability is, here it's very important for all of us to understand, because we are imparting knowledge, we are imparting education on day-to-day basis. So whenever there is a loophole, whenever there is a lacuna in any child, so as a teacher, our focus should not always be on those children who are probably gifted or who are of high intelligence or who perform well. But as teachers, it's also our prime duty to notice and get those children in the forefront who have these kind of minor difficulties in their day-to-day life. So it is again important for us to know IQ from 90 to 110 is considered as the normal range of intellectual quotient. So 85 to 89, which generally comes under the category of slow learner, and in the coming up sessions, we are also will be talking about intellectual disability and slow learner. So somewhere we can say IQ of 85 up to 110. If the child lies or has this level of IQ, still if you see as a teacher that there is some problem in the child's retention power, his attention and concentration, his memory issues, that means definitely there are certain indications as indicators of learning disability. So yes, the prevalence rate we will go through once. It affects approximately 5 to 15% of the school going children. So that is teachers actually quite a lot if we talk about in numbers. A new study says that every classroom is likely to have 2 or 3 children with learning disabilities. So definitely teachers, I can understand it's not only a tough situation for the parents only, but definitely for you also. I'm very challenging when I say that, you know, you have to manage 30 or maybe 40 students. Along with that, you have to give special attention, special care to these children as well. So I'm very sure as a teacher, it may be or may not be a little bit difficult for you at some time. It can be noticed as early as in preschool years. So now I will talk about the types of learning disability. So if, for example, the movie, as we all have maybe must have seen also, and we know very well about that, the movie named Tare Zameen Par. This we have all seen. And I think so. So therein it was quite of an extreme symptom, extreme condition, and the spectrum was quite high in terms of learning disability. May not be that every child will show those kind of extreme symptoms. Some minimalistic symptoms can also be very well seen and noticed in most of the children around us. So dyslexia, this means reading and writing difficulty. So in terms of the prime symptoms, if I tell you teachers, dyslexia means you can see a child is making a lot of spelling errors. The child is not able to write the sentences. He is not able to use a proper vocabulary, not a lot of new words, and he won't be able to communicate nicely when we ask the child to write some paragraph on creative writing. So these symptoms or these signs probably you can see when a child will be having dyslexia. If I talk about dyscalculia, it's a problem wherein the child primarily has a lot of problem in terms of mathematical reasoning, mathematical accuracy, and the overall you can see as teachers a lot of slowness in the process when they are solving any kind of sum. For example, you have taught addition, you have taught subtraction to the child. He will on the spot will be able to understand the concept well, or he may have little bit, you need to give 2 to 3 times more number of instructions to the child. But when he will be asked to apply it, for example, in any problem sum or just generally, then teachers you will notice that there is a lot of slowness process the child is doing the addition or he is doing the multiplication. So a lot of slowness and poor understanding in terms of mathematical calculations. Dysgraphia is primarily teachers, it's about the difficulty in motor coordination. And dysgraphia, it is somewhere something similar to each other, and it's a relatable term, I would say. Especially in dysgraphia, what happens that the formation of letters, the formation of numbers. For example, you ask the child to write apple. It may be possible if the child is having a lot of motor, having a lot of poor motor coordination and extremely poor handwriting issues, then definitely I'm very sure that you will not be able to read A as A. Or maybe you can read the letter, and or he may write the letter in a very weird kind of a fashion. So proper formation of letters or numbers is most of the time quite difficult for these kind of children. Okay, so this is it's a very common thing, not for us probably, but definitely trust me teachers, it's a very common phenomena. The way you all can see the video right now, it's very common. If I tell you for the children with learning disability, and trust me, whatever we had seen in Tare Zameen Par, now I think it will be quite relatable for all of you, because at times actually they say that, ma'am, numbers are dancing, okay, or they are somewhere in their own imagination world. That to distract them from those kind of things becomes actually very difficult for the parents and as well as for the parents. So something is written in this paragraph right now. I'm not going to read it aloud, but you all can just try guessing it. I will just keep the slides for like 30 or 40 seconds. So if you can, I will just leave you all with the slide. So if you all can just read little bit, just 1 or 2 lines, that means definitely you will be able to understand or judge what exactly they go through. Okay. Right? Again, some bit of these kind of symptoms also can be seen in children with learning disability. So let's try reading out the lines this time. 2 college boys were climbing trees. One said, I can see the in college girls from here. And trust me, teachers, hardly the first or second time I'm trying with my pace only in reading this. The let go of the tree and you will see medical college girls too. So this is next paragraph. 2 college boys were climbing wow. The other said, let go of the tree and you will see the medical college girls too in the hospitals. At least I would pat my back, so at least I could read up to quite some bit. Okay. So teachers, these are the realistic samples, what we have chosen to show all of you in our presentation. A child who's 8 years old around. So you can see directly with this that how a child with dyslexia generally writes the sample sentences. Okay, so okay, this is an example of how they have tried to write the sentences. And next also is a realistic example, what we have chosen. This is written by a 9-year-old boy. So you can see the handwriting, the assumption of the straight line, and how they have, actually written the letters one by one. So you all can see these are all realistic samples, which is being. So teachers, directly we will now come to the LD criteria, or if I can say the symptoms of LD. So let us quickly have an understanding. Covered a bit in the previous slides. So can be identified in the early years of school, number one. Second, reading with lot of errors and slow reading. Poor retention expression, poor memory, difficulty in remembering particularly facts or concepts or numbers, poor mathematical reasoning, poor academic grades, guessing of letters or words. So basically, if I have to tell you in brief, so that means that the child will definitely be having a tendency of just simply guessing the words, just substituting letters with one another, or just omitting one sentence or one word or one number when from the text. Errors and slow reading. And also interesting to notice that most of the time learning disability also reading and writing as well. Poor written expression, that means the overall criteria, the overall creative expressive writing is completely poor in most of the cases if I talk about learning disability. So if I give any heading as noise pollution or global warming, so definitely the child will not be able to concentrate well. The child will be having a lot of problems in terms of thinking, imagining, and putting those ideas into words. So it is one of the most prime symptoms or signs in learning disabilities. Poor academic grades, as we all know, most of the parents when we meet, most of the teachers are also quite a bit confused at times that when the child is listening to us very carefully, he is socializing well, he comes from English medium or probably from Hindi medium, or any kind of communication is very good within the families, not able to get into the actual reason, the root cause why learning disability happens. So again, I would say much can be really not done in terms of a full-fledged treatment, but surely I can say that learning disability managed up to quite a bit with the help of none other than the special educators. So guessing of letters, as we discussed earlier, poor punctuations, and so okay, if I talk, I will just stop the screen sharing. So if I just eminent personalities who had learning disabilities. So if you search, there are so many videos on them. And if we think at the first go, just if as teachers, if we only try to concentrate or comment on any child's behavior, that okay, the child is not able to write properly, the child is not able to read properly, that means he cannot do anything in his life. So teachers, here I would definitely like to do a little bit brainstorming over here, that it is completely wrong if we are thinking in these lines, because most of the time parents and teachers also do not understand that what kind of other signs and symptoms are related to learning disability. One of the major symptoms, if I can say from our clinical knowledge, that is low. So if I talk about low self-confidence, it is very much in children with learning disability. Why? Let me tell you the reasons. Because if I'm a child with learning disability, for example, I am able to make my classmates, I am able to understand all the instructions given by the teacher to me, but still I am able to understand down the line that the teacher is little bit more partial to the other classmates, and why doesn't she ask the questions, or why doesn't she appreciate me anytime in the classroom. So teachers, why I'm sharing this view with all of you, primarily to just change your views from today onwards in terms of when we talk about learning disability, because any child that you see having low self-confidence or low self-esteem, he or she, teachers, should be our prime motive. If we can indulge these kind of children in the forefront, and if we can accept them, and if we can motivate them to perform any kind of multiple activities, whatever is going on in the school or in the class, like group discussions, dance, or something related to dance or music, or in the annual days, I believe, teachers, that a lot of self-confidence boosting up will really happen with these kind of children, because they do not get the proper channel to show their talent. They do not get the proper platform to show their talent, in terms of when I talk in family related, like in the home situation also, and as well as school. So maximum what we can do as teachers, help them, try to educate their parents also, that what kind of problem you feel as a teacher that the child is going through, and also how you and the parents can both work together in dealing or managing this learning disability level of the child. So teachers, this was from my end. So I would definitely like to interact with whosoever is listening to us regarding your own experiences, that if you have ever come across children with learning disability in your day-to-day classroom situation, or whatever input you all as teachers can also give to me. So it will be great for me also to understand from your point of view. So, teachers, you can unmute yourself, and if you want to start your video also, you can do that, so that I'm able to connect with you well. And if you want to share any kind of your personal experience, for example, some of the teachers we know that working in the government schools only, they have actually gone quite a bit more than their parameters to actually help these kind of children, and those children are doing quite good, and I would say at times they do much better than the other children as well. So definitely I would like to hear your experiences also, if somebody wants to share. I can see, yes, I can see Puneet ma'am also over here, where she has been quite regular for all the sessions. So ma'am, if you want to share something with us, or any other teacher wants to share with us, it will be really very experiential for me as well to understand your viewpoint. Also, if you have any questions related to learning disability, or how you can probably identify these children in the classroom, you can write it to me in the chat box. So I would love to answer your queries. So any teacher wants to share any kind of experience? Whether it be learning disability or any child having a slow or he's a slow learner, so any kind of experience. And also any kind of suggestion or feedback you all want to give to us. So it will also be beneficial for us, because from now onwards, the same session will be in Hindi tomorrow. Then from Monday onwards, we will be having all the sessions depending on the neurodevelopmental disorders only, in terms of intellectual disability, slow learner, multiple disability, autism, and ADHD. Yes, ma'am. Please tell me. I think you can, ma'am, unmute yourself from your end only. Because we have unmuted everybody from our side. Okay, so I can see Puneet ma'am raising the hand. So ma'am, or else whatever you want to ask, you can just send it to me in the chat box. Okay, so the technical team probably can help me with this. If we have from our end unmuted everybody. So give me a few seconds, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we are just looking into it. Just stay with
Hello,
us.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Finally, I'm able to hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. How are
Ma'am,
you, ma'am?
Puneet Madan this side.
Yes, ma'am. Please tell me.
Ma'am, I have my experience with all these slow learners, but I have found that
Okay.
when I was teaching in class 3rd as compared to the class 6th, 7th or 8th students, I found
Yes.
that the learning disability is much more, can be taken into, like it can be handled properly
Yes.
at the lower stage, the primary stage.
Right.
What I think.
So, yes, ma'am. Completely true. I completely agree with your point, because as I said, like not only in autism, not only in ADHD, but in learning disability also, if although we don't use the word spectrum, different spectrums in it or different levels, but I completely agree with you on this point that as soon as in the primary years only, in the early years, if we try to identify the signs or the symptoms, I am very sure that then only the what we call as the treatment plan or the prognosis can be very well, and we can fully prepare the child for the formal years. Definitely, ma'am. I completely agree with you.
Ma'am, and second thing is that there was, because of the learning disability, there was a child in a school. She herself, she used to come to school by her parents. They forcibly used to send her. They had given her they were they forced the school and even by the education department. उन्होंने जान के ही ना लेटर लिखवाई हुई थी कि भी नहीं हमने एडमिशन करवानी है ये अपनी बेटी को. तो 8th क्लास के बाद तो उसको स्कूल से ही छुड़वा दिया गया था क्योंकि वो लड़की जो सी थी शी वाज गुड इन स्पोर्ट्स बट अदरवाइज she was not able to grasp more of the things which we used to teach them. क्योंकि क्लास में उसको अलग अटेंशन देनी थी. अब अलग अटेंशन देते थे तो उसको वो और ज्यादा बिगड़ती थी.
Right. True, because every child with learning disability or every child with any kind of neurodevelopmental disorder is completely different from one another. So definitely I'm also with you in this point, because most of the time what happens, why we are also constantly interacting with the teachers from all over India. This is the only reason and why we are trying to cover up, all kind of neurodevelopmental disorders in all our sessions. The prime reason behind it is teachers, that only that you can psychoeducate yourself and as well as the parents for that matter, because these children with learning disability, as I told earlier also, they are not in the category of intellectual disability. So for example, this child with LD is completely aware, is completely self-aware in terms of where I stand in terms of the rank in the school, where exactly do I stand in terms of dance, music, or contributing something in the class discussions or in the performance or anything. So as a LD child or a child with LD, I can understand and I'm completely aware of my things. So it further deteriorates the level of self-confidence in the children, because in a way till the time they go to 7th or 8th or 9th, till the time the CBSE gives a lot of concessions. But what happens after that? Because most of the parents, I'm very sure, they also don't know or they are not much aware of the fact that government, as like CBSE, gives so many concessions all through to all the children having learning disability. So till the time we do not, inform all the teachers, all the parents about it, so nobody will be able to understand this, that what all concessions I at my own level can give the child with learning disability. So once the child will get those concessions, automatically a lot of, in fact, we can definitely see in the child's self-confidence as soon as we substitute a proper academic subject with a more vocational subject. So definitely this boosts up the self-confidence in the child a lot. So that is the only reason why we keep on suggesting the parents and the teachers also that they definitely should go through a detailed evaluation once in every year, so that we as psychologists, you as teachers, and definitely their parents also should be all on the same page, and we can better, in a better way, manage the condition of the child. So definitely this will be my input for any kind of management when we talk about the management plan of children with learning disability. And thank you so much, ma'am, for, of course, your fruitful input, because I can see that you are very well with us in all the sessions. So definitely, I would like to have your presence also in all the further sessions as well, when we talk about different neurodevelopmental disorders. So I would request any other teacher who wants to share or talk about their own experience or any kind of impact you all have made in any child's life. So it will be something that I will also be benefiting personally. Any teacher wants to comment or share anything, so please, most welcome. So okay, so teachers, this will be from our end for today. So tomorrow the same session we are going to have in Hindi about learning disability itself, and from Monday onwards we will have on intellectual disability, slow learner, autism, ADHD, and multiple disability. So teachers, I would definitely like you all to stay with us through all the sessions. And again, thank you so much for joining in with the session. And it was really wonderful that, like ma'am has also shared her own experience. So in the further sessions also, I'm expecting some kind of experiential learning also we are going to have in our sessions. So thank you so much, teachers.